Hi everybody, I thought I'd take you with me on this trip. I'm just leaving Chicago now. I got about 400 plants in the truck and in the front seat traveling with me. I'm going to Charlottesville, Virginia. It's about a 12-hour ride from here. I'll take 2 days. I have to finish a garden I started. I'll show you where we're at with it, but there's too many holes. We've had a lot of wet issues from turf being overwatered from some slight soil compaction, but that's working itself out. And I can't just keep flying out there and rearranging things and then not finding the plants or having plants delivered from 200 miles away. So I'm just going to drive the plants out there. My whole goal, I just want to get this done. I want to get all the plants, I want to get everything filled. And then as we move through time, we can rearrange some things that need to be done. That's called gardening. So I'm looking forward to the gardening part and actually getting the planting completed, plant around the box where that were relocated, and get the holes filled. So I'm taking my trusty truck. It's 6 in the morning on Saturday, and off we go. And I stop for a tea. All right, everybody, I'll fill you in on our next stop. See you in Charlottesville. Bye. Morning. It's day 2. I'm still in West Virginia. It's a beautiful morning. I'm going to just share the drive a little bit with you for 15 seconds, but it's been nothing but beautiful rolling mountains. And it's a very quiet Sunday morning. I'm the only vehicle on the road. So I'm enjoying where I'm going to Crozet, outside of Charlottesville, and that's where the project is, inside of Crozet. All right, everybody. It's a beautiful ride. This is day 2. I should be there in about 2 hours. See you later. As I call it, the fall color of the sprabolus on my seat is picked up by the fall color of the trees here in West Virginia. See the reds and the yellows, and the reds and the yellows and browns of the trees. It's a very beautiful drive, a very beautiful day. A very beautiful state, West Virginia. Well, I made it. It's Sunday about 1 o'clock. The barn you see in the back, that's the guest house with the swimming pool. It was a small barn, and I'll show you the driveway approaching the garden. So hooray, I'm here and my truck made it. I think we drove, here it is, 855 miles from Northwind to that barn, and we did it in a day and a half with stops and taking nice breaks. You can see the garden up there, a little bit of the panicums. So there's the drive up there's the barn. So I'm going to unload the truck now, take all the plants out, organize everything, and then we'll take a look at the patterns we're going to recreate and redefine, and then take a walk through the garden and see how it looks. So there it is. As of right now, looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. We got some redefining to do. All right, let's get to it. First, we unload the truck. Well, after a nice sunny ride, it clouded up a little bit, as you can see. And I've unloaded the truck, and look at everything I got in the pickup truck. Quite a bit, I have to say, and I've still got a few plants left on the truck. So I've got everything out now. I'm just starting to relocate some plants. We're doubling up some of the just champs. Yeah, I'll show you what we're doing. We're just building a larger scale planting with the plants that have been in the ground for a year. So we're not letting, we're catching up quickly by putting 2 smaller plants together. And I'll walk through that and show you that. I just want to say this stage is getting the plants out, labeling, seeing what I've got, and then walking through and looking at the gaps we have, and then filling in those gaps with plants that fit the soil conditions, where the sprinkles will be on a little bit more because of the soil moisture needed to keep the turf on the greener side. So the truck is unloaded, and the rain is coming in a little bit, you can see, and I'm walking in the garden now, and I'm laying plants out basically. See what we're trying to do? This is a 1.5 years old. This was planted last July. So I'm going to put plants next to them to dense this up a little quicker, just to kind of hurry things up and get everything in scale and get everything healthy at the same time. So that's our goal tomorrow. But the gardens are looking pretty good. The Muhlenbergia, the white cloud is in bloom, and looks really nice. All right, we'll catch up. I'm gonna head out of here. It's raining, and we'll Talk to you tomorrow with the crew. Bye. Well, here's one area I'm working on. I dug out three. This is Panicum Cape Breeze. The Panicum Cape Breeze, I had three too many here, or four actually. In here, there's a Parthenium back there, a group of Parthenium and Rhingium ecifolium. I dug out 1, 2, 3, I dug out 4 of them. And I'm gonna dig this one out and move it here. And in the back, I've put in Agastache rugosa albiflora, 5 of those back here. And then here I had Echolea terracotta. So 5, I dug out 5. And I'm putting more terracotta, I'm making the terracotta bigger. I'm adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 terracotta. I'll move this over here and put 2 more terracotta here. So it'll be a larger sweep of Echolea terracotta, group of Agastache albiflora with the Parthenium just above it or mingling in it. And then the Rhingium ecifolium, and there you can see arching over is the Panicum Cape Breeze. And that'll continue from here this way, and the Echolea terracotta will move over about 3 feet this way. So that's one of the adjustments I'm making. Again, I had too much Panicum Cape Breeze, and the Cape Breeze here gets much looser than it does by us. It leans over by us, but it doesn't lean over. You can see how much it's just arching over. I think it's due to the additional 4 to 5 weeks of the growing season. So because the growing season is 5 weeks longer or 4 weeks longer, it just gets more vegetative growth. It flowered earlier than ours in early July, 1st of July, and then it toppled over. So I'm just removing 5 or 6, and I'm gonna take them back to Northwind. You can see my truck there. I'm gonna cut them back, plant them, and I can divide them next year and plant them in our garden at Northwind. All right, that's one of the areas we're working on. Let's go look at another site. Well, we got the planting done. Day 2, it took a day and a half. We planted about 500 plants, mostly 1 gallon containers, about 100 quarts. And we filled in a lot of gaps and holes that were created by overwatering, some soil compaction. We loosened the soil up with drills, mixed in leaf mulch. So we're moving forward, but the garden looks really good. Got the good color. There's the wheelbarrow done its job. Everything here has done its job. And this has helped out a lot. That little John Deere cart. And here's my truck. I'm putting the tarp back on to head back to Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. This is what we got left. There's the pots. I'm bringing the pots back. I reuse everything until they break into a million pieces. And a few of the plants, some Aruncus ratio left, 2 flats of Deschampsia gold towel, and so we're drawing towards the close. Once I tarp the truck, I'm gonna go around and film some of the patterns we created and what was there and what we put in to help solve the issue of the moisture, extra moisture to keep the turf healthy. All right, let's take a look at that. First, I'll tarp the truck and get that done. It's the next day. I thought I'd walk through and show you some more additions we made. The Muhlenbergia white cloud did surprisingly well in this area. This is, as you can see, the pool. The grade slightly down under the grass. It stayed fairly wet here. You can see the edge died of the Muhlenbergia, and that side died as the water ran into it. So our adjustment was I put in Deschampsia gold towel in through here, groups of gold towel with Lobelia syphilitica, and the Penstemon digitalis dark towers. We're going to try that. They seem to do well. We put those in last July, and they've done well through the summer in the Lobelia, and then this Champsia Gold Towel. So we have that drifted through here. I just want to get out of my shadow. It looks like I don't know how to photograph. And if you say I don't, you're absolutely right. So I'm so thankful for Dave, who does the majority of the good photography and keeps this show sensible. And then we added Limonium latifolium in between Allium Summer Beauty and Allium Big Beauty. We have those two mixed together. And then a group of Colonie, Tiny Tortuga, drifted right through. This will be a nice wall of green with the spikes of Agastache Blue Fortune coming through the Tiny Tortuga Colonie right through there. So that was another adjustment we made through here. And I think everything will be fine with the additional moisture, so they can keep watering the fescue sod, keep it healthy-ish and green through their warm summers. And the plants in here then will adapt to that water flow as it goes over the grass into the garden. So I think this area is going to work out. Now let me just take a quick walk and show you the areas we changed to. I took out aster, most of the aster Lady in Black here, and put in Levisticum scoticum as a dark foliage against the tall Lady in Black. When Lady in Black will lean over, Levisticum scoticum kind of looks like celery. It's a beautiful white flower, and that'll be a nice front for the Lady in Black as it leans over. But look how nicely the Aster Twilight mixes with the Muhlenbergia White Cloud and Agastache Blue Fortune. And then we get into the Amsonia Hubrechtii with a little bit of Muhlenbergia behind it. And that's Rudbeckia subtomentosa, two architectural pieces in the back. It's a nice grouping, especially looking at the sunlight as it comes through the seed heads of the Aster Twilight. And every 3 weeks, every 2 weeks, it's a nice time to be in the garden because of the constant change. And of course the Veronicastrum coming through, and it drifts down to Salvia wissui, Phlomis Rusellii, I think. I've never grown this one. I can't get it through the winter. It has the yellow flowers. So we tried it here. This year it didn't flower. And I don't know why, because again, I've never grown it. You can't get through our winters. So we'll see how that does next year. This is Aster October Skies. I know you're all thinking the genus has changed, Roy. Get with it. Get with it. Symphyotrichum. Once I learn to pronounce it with my Berwyn accent, I'll use that genus instead of Aster. I think it's Symphyotrichum. October Skies. Beautiful plant. And then a little dab of Muhlenbergia with the vertical Veronicastrum virginianum behind it. So this bed's looking pretty good. I think it's doing well, and we're going to add more bulbs. And I added a group of Persicaria plexicalis rosea coming through there. That'll be in between the Aster and Agastache, so that'll have a nice soft rosy color. And I added a group over on this side in that other garden. You'll see it. So it carries across the pathway. And I've got one more group in another garden down by the pool. Okay, we'll take another look at some other places. Here's another area that we're working on. This is Vernonia Summer Swan Song. You can see the rabbits devour it. They wait till later in the year. It's not until, oh, and you can see the height of the plant. When the plant gets around 12 inches tall, the rabbits start chewing on it, and they take it down about 6 to 8 inches. So you can see them, they probably stand up a little bit, then eat their way down to that point. So we're going to spray next year with a Bobex, which is a fermented egg material to keep the rabbits off. And then I've interplanted Echinacea Northwind within the Vernonia. So the Echinacea, it's a tall Echinacea, very loose look, and flowers for a long time, probably 2 to 3 weeks longer than Echinacea purpurea. The parentage is a Tennesseeensis cross, and it'll be above the Vernonia, and also mixed in there Cephalaria gigantea. And people have said, Roy, that reseeds. It does reseed, but look at the competition it has to reseed into. So because the planting is getting so mature, the reseeding of the Cephalaria will be at a minimal. And then when a gardener sees it, either they can leave it or they can hoe it out based on how it fits into the pattern of the planting. And we also mix in here Agastache, Rugosa, albiflora. There's 3 of them right in this area. And then 3 Echinacea Northwind. So next year we have to spray Bobex on the Vernonia, and we'll do it weekly till about July probably, and then we'll see what reaction the rabbits have to it. And let's take a walk around on this side. Luciano extended the beds, which was really cool. He's got a really good eye to get this bed a little wider. It was a little too narrow, and the grasses, the panicums here, Cape Breeze and heavy metal, they grew quite large compared to what they do by us. And I think it was the longer growing season. That's my assumption. Because on panicum heavy metal, as it was flowering, new growth was coming up from the base of the panicum heavy metal. And I don't ever remember seeing that by us. Once it flowers, goes into fall color, I rarely see new growth coming from the base of panicum at all. But it was interesting to see that here. So I dug a few out, and I put in a border of Calamintha, a selection from Intrinsic, Brent Horvath did a beautiful selection. And I've got so this will be powder blue all the way along the edge with some Echinacea terracotta, little islands of that. Powder blue, we'll have then it's interrupted by the panicum, Rudbeckia subtomentosa. And here comes the powder blue again with Helenium. I can't remember, I think it's a new selection called Dancer. It's got the darker flowers. They're kind of orangish red. And maybe some of you, I should remember, a dancing something. And then we break it up again with terracotta. Here's Cape Breeze. And this one's much shorter here. But see how they leaned over and got floppy in the middle? They just got much bigger towards the center. And that could be reaching for light, too, as they were crowded on both sides by panicums. And here they get the light from the edge, and it could be they stayed shorter and didn't have to reach for quite as much light. And then a interruption of aster on a shovel, an interruption of a shovel. And then aster October Skies with Solidago Wichita Mountain, accenting October Skies. And then we continue with the Calamintha. So there's a nice powder blue all the way along the back, and then that powder blue will step up into the Eupatoriums, the Rudbeckia subtomentosa, and the panicums. And again, you can see how tall the Vernonia got until the rabbits started chewing it. So again, they're about 18 inches tall. So that means we can start spraying around early June, late May here in Virginia, I believe. All right, let's go walk over and take a look at another area. I'm getting ready to leave. It's about 1 o'clock on Wednesday. We got everything done. I've been moving plants around, kind of taking some things and repositioning them in the garden. And this is the last look. This is an area where it was wet again, where the water was running in from the turf. And we put in Stilby purpurcurs, so it'll be about 3.5 feet high. I think it'll look good here with the seed heads and color. And that drifts into the back and between the Muhlenbergia. And the Stilby purpurcurs is here, again drifting into the back with Helenium. That one I should remember, the dancing, I guess, series possibly. But the dancing group, they've done very well. And then Penstemon digitalis, the dark towers. And here I put a group of Coloni with dark towers. It's tiny Tortuga right through here. So let's just take a walk through. I'm ready to leave. The truck is packed. Look at the beautiful seed heads on Monarda bradburyiana. Isn't that gorgeous? And it goes into Salvia crystal blue. I'm going to keep my mouth shut for a while. I just want to walk through here and kind of emotionally say goodbye to Virginia as I head back to Wisconsin. And I have a great ride through West Virginia. West Virginia is a beautiful state. The mountains, the color, the people. I've really enjoyed my ride here and my ride home. The Muhlenbergia is beautiful. All right, I'm just going to take a walk back to the truck. All right, everybody, I'll talk to you from Wisconsin. See you later. Thanks for being around too. I appreciate it. See you later.